Alright guys, welcome back to the YouTube channel, and today's video we're going to try to see if we can get this old 1988 Buick Reatta 3800 V6 to run again after about 3 years of sitting. Alright, so we put a battery in it. I have checked fuses, I've checked relays, I've checked pretty much everything. I did notice there is some fuel coming to the engine bay because, as you can tell, it's wet. Oh yeah, that's a drip. It smells like fuel to me. So something's happening with the fuel pump in the tank. May not be a bad fuel pump after all. Who knows? I don't hear it prime, so that's one thing that concerns me. But oh, all right, building up some pressure. So diaphragm. I checked this before. The diaphragm's not bad. At least I didn't see any. Yeah, that's a lot of fuel coming out of that. I don't know if I should leave that cap off or not. So pretty much got it put in the garage. Had to have about 6 of us to move it from where the Lumina is sitting now back up and then back into here. This car is not lightweight by any means at all. Pretty damn heavy, honestly. But like I said, I checked all the relays and stuff. I went on Google and pulled up the relays, and the far left one right here is the fuel pump relay, apparently to Google. This one and this one's for the braking system, ABS, and all that bull crap. However, when I unplugged all that stuff, it looked burnt. Every one of these looked burnt. But everybody tells me, oh, that's fine, that's normal. That's old GM grease, dielectric stuff that they used for the electrical system back then, and when it dries, it makes it look like that. But I just don't believe it. I honestly don't. And this is a new relay for the fuel pump. But you see what I'm talking about? It looks burnt. How does that look like the old grease that they used to use? That to me just don't make no sense. But I tucked it under there because I can't get this one off, and I just wanted to make sure that the relay was good. But apparently that relay's good too, because the pump's trying to do something. Put a fresh battery in it. I don't know if I said that already. Checked all the fluids, everything's full. Oil needs to be changed, but it's full. The coolant needs to be changed, but it's full. I got some brake cleaner, carb cleaner, whatever you want to call it. It's got good ethanol in it. Something that'll burn. Don't use gas when you're trying to do this stuff. That's just not a good thing to try to use when you're trying to get something to run, because it will backfire and catch the whole damn car on fire. Trust me, I've seen it done. Take the intake hose off. I took the screen off of the mass airflow sensor, and the sensor is right here. So as long as I'm squirting inside of this part, the mass airflow will be alright. You don't want to get that stuff on there because it'll ruin the sensor. I got the gas lid to shut and open now. Went to the junkyard, got a few parts. And I'm not sure if the junkyard video will be coming out before this one or after this one, but either way, you'll see it soon. None of the digital stuff works. The radio, the cassette. I did have a door chime, and there is two different keys, but I've been using the gray because the gray kind of like matches the interior, so I'm guessing this is the original key. It doesn't have GM stamped on it, but this one does. I don't know. I'm guessing these are chipped. I really don't know. But anyway, I put some floor mats in here from another Buick, but will be going in my Celebrity when I'm done. He's not keeping these because I really like them. They look good in here, but I want to keep them for my car instead. Of course, there's no door chime when I try to show you. That sucks. Because it's a pretty neat chime, the old 80s. So I hear nothing. I hear relays click, but I don't hear no pump, no noise, no buzzing, no humming, nothing. At nighttime when it's pitch dark, you can see the speedometer reading, which is 0. You can see the fuel gauge reading, which is little bars. And one time I had it showing 4 bars, so I'm guessing 4 gallons in the tank, and I added 2 gallons of gas in the tank, so I'm guessing it had 2 in it, and I added 2 more and made it 4. However, that quit reading, and now it's just showing me nothing at night. But you can't see it. I can't get it on camera. I can't get it on a picture at all because it's so dark. And you can tell the camera's not even picking up what it looks like in the daytime, where you can see some of it. And the mileage on this car, I found out, it's got 139,000, because this side right here where the mileage would be shows up, but it's barely, very, very faint. The radio works, but you can't see it, but I looked it up on Google and figured out which buttons was what to turn it on, and the volume and the station, and actually got the radio to work, which is pretty neat. But everything else works on the car besides the radio and the cluster being halfway out. I guess it's a common issue on these, and I looked it up on eBay, and it's like $150 just for a cluster, and it doesn't even have a warranty at all. So, and as for this, it's probably around the same price, but nothing. There it is. That's pretty neat. That's all I got left. That's it of that can. Too bad I couldn't figure out how to get that stuff inside without taking the air hose off, because all that suction noise, you can't hear how it sounds. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So, the next thing we're going to be doing is trying to get that gas tank dropped down, and I guess putting a new fuel pump in it. I know there was a lot of cranking on it, but I wanted to just show you that it will run actually really good with that stuff. Yeah, there's not much fuel coming out again this time. Tried beating on the tank on the very bottom, and that didn't do anything. Sometimes you can kind of beat on the tank and it will get the pump to start trying to do something, or at least run for the last time, so you can get it moved or whatever you need to do. Those marks are not from me though. I didn't do that part. Somebody has been in this tank before, is what he told me. Supposedly it had a fuel pump replacement 3 years ago, but yeah. So I guess we'll be dropping the tank, which doesn't look too easy. We're gonna remove the sway bar, a bunch of junk out of the way in order to get it out, and may have to replace the pump, the whole tank as well. You can still get those, but you can't get the whole sitting unit, so that sucks. If can't get a sitting unit, then you'll never know how much actual gas is in the tank, so that'll really, mess it up, because the owner could not keep an eye on how much is in the tank and burn the pump up again, which is what I'm guessing has happened. But anyway, I don't know if I'll record much of it, but I'm going to try to get the tank down either today or in a few days and see what I can do about getting this replaced and get it done, because it's getting colder and I don't want to happen what happened before 4 years ago, dropping the gas tank. Alright guys, back with the Buick Reatta, and so we got the gas tank drained. This sucker was slammed full. Oh, that's just great, yeah. So about 18 to 20 gallons later, and I think there's still some in the tank, I couldn't get it all out, but it was enough to where I could drop it down and not get gas on me or pour it all over the concrete. So we got that drained, that's done. And I got the sway bar done, the lines are undone, the gas tank's unbolted, it's dropped, the wiring harness is disconnected already. And if you're a beginner for this type of work, make sure you have the battery disconnected when you're doing this. Alright, so the sway bar is done. It's a 15 millimeter long bolt that goes straight through here to the lower upper subframe, and then you have 4 13 millimeter bolts that hold the gas tank straps on, and then you also need to remove the exhaust shield on the other side, which is held on by 3 7 millimeter bolts. Real easy. Once I got the gas tank drained and got it down, it was pretty much just a piece of cake from there. So basically the only thing I got to do now is disconnect these lines that are right here on the frame. This bottom one, which should be the feed line, and then the return line, and then the vent. Once I get those undone, then I can go ahead and drag the gas tank out from underneath the car. I have the filler neck hoses off. I've already capped that one off, so if there's any gas left, it doesn't come spewing out everywhere and making a mess. Because the stuff that come out of this tank was completely nasty. This thing looked like it's been sitting for about 6 years. With the amount of crap that's fell all over me and fell on my face, and acorns and spider webs and things that are rusty and seized and this, that, and the other, etc. But anyway, I'm going to finish and get those lines undone, and we'll drag the gas tank out. Alright, so the gas tank's out. Here it is. Not bad for what I was expecting. I thought it was going to be way worse, but the inside's where it all shines at. I actually have another one coming, because the owner had told me when he had the pump replaced, like, I don't know, 3 years ago or something, if not more. I think the car's been sitting 6 years, because he said it's been sitting a long time. But anyway, he said that there was rust inside the tank. He cleaned it with Coke, dried it out or whatever, put it together, put it in the car, and it didn't last long until it went out again. So we're just going to replace the tank this time and replace the filter sock that's in the tank, because he didn't do that. And we're going to replace the fuel filter that's on the frame of the car, because he didn't do that either. Those are the two main keys that you want to replace when you're doing this fuel pump replacement on any vehicle, because if the fuel pump went out, more likely it's either because it strained too hard because of a dirty, clogged up filter, or there's trash or rust or anything like that. But this one has a lot of rust inside. But the other one should be here soon. Depends on how shipping works through the parts store. You know how everything is with the virus around. It takes forever for stuff to get here, but yeah, it should work fine. Getting a new tank, which makes it easier on me, because there's not fumes and stuff like that. Brand new tank, and it has everything that I need. So I can't get the sending unit. I don't know if I mentioned that before, but you know, it is what it is. I'm gonna clean it up, test the sending unit. If it's bad, then it's bad. I mean, there's nothing else I can do about it. It could be just rust in the way, could be anything, could be a ground inside there on the sending unit itself that's just broke. There's no telling. We'll find out when I get it all together and tore apart, and then hopefully get this thing going on the road again after about 6 years of sitting. What a shame. Alright guys, well, as you can see, if you didn't notice, the car is turned around. So I guess let's find out if the old Buick Reatta will actually run and drive, or possibly just run, after 6 to 10 years of sitting, because everything's put back together. Fuel pump, gas tank, all that good stuff. And when I put it all back together, the fuel pump that's in the tank still didn't work, even though it was replaced. So I had to go, I had rechecked everything, and everything was still good. Come to find out, it was the fuel pump that I replaced. So I got underneath, banged on the tank about 3 to 5 times, and now it works. So I don't know how long it's going to keep working. Maybe it will. I don't know. For now, I'm not replacing it because there's nothing wrong with it. It's, you know, doing like it should. There's no hesitation or anything like that. But the car does have a few issues with misfires. There's a bearing noise on that side of the engine bay, like the alternator bearing or the water pump, more than likely. One of the two is shot because it sounds horrible when it runs, but I'll show you in just a second. But everything's put back together, like I said, and the brakes are locked up, so I can't really drive it. It was a pain in the butt to get the car pulled out, turned around, and backed in, especially going backwards, because one of the front brakes up here is locked, and the car doesn't really want to move. Here's your fuel pump. Yep. You can hear the noise. Yeah, it's still misfiring. I have a feeling it's probably an injector because of that raw fuel and been sitting for years. But it's alive. Freaking runs again after 10 years of sitting. That's amazing. Yeah, definitely got a misfire. Alright, so now what is next, you might ask? Well, I'm actually going to do a lot of this behind the camera because a lot of you are not really watching these videos of this particular car. Not sure why. You sure the heck love the heck out of Chevy celebrity videos, the S10 and some of the C10. So what I'm going to do is, the car needs a tune-up, so plugs and wires are going to get done. It needs a serpentine belt, needs an oil change, it needs front brakes, back brakes, especially because the front's locked up. It needs the misfire tracked down and fixed. There's vacuum hoses and lines that needs to be replaced that are old and brittle and been on here probably since it was new. I do know that these wires are factory. They say Packard on them. That's what GM used back in the day. So, yeah, never had new wires put on it. Car has 139,000. There's a vacuum line right here. There's one for the modulator valve for the trans. And then I replaced this one because this one broke. Some of these others need to be replaced. There's some back here for the HVAC. One of them goes all the way around to right in here where the cruise control and all that stuff is. And I mean, just look at it. If I touch it, I get stuff all over my hands. So those have got to be replaced. And then the engine bay needs to be cleaned up. Get all this like rat nest and spider webs and dirt and mud and whatever else, spiders, out of the engine bay, so I can check everything else out, make sure everything else is good before the owner comes to pick up the car. Do need to get another battery for it because that's my battery and he's not taking that. And let's see what else. I think that might be it. We'll never know how much gas is in the car ever again because the sending unit's toast and you can't get one because it's discontinued. What else is there? There's no way to tell the temperature of the car. There's no way to tell the battery voltage, any of that stuff. You can't use the AC. You can't use the air, the heat if you had it, because none of that crap works. The radio doesn't display. So I mean, you're pretty much screwed. And you don't even know how fast you're going either, because all that crap is digital. So you're really kind of shooting in the dark here when you're driving this car around. Now, if it's dark outside, you can see the speedometer and stuff like that, but that's it. You can't see anything else. Like I mentioned before, here's the fuel filter that came out. Toast. But I think it's going to do it for this video. I got some other work to be doing on this thing. I want to get this thing done and out of here, moved on to the next one. I like the car, it's cool, but for something to be owning and trying to daily again, heck no. Because they only made these cars from 88 to 91, and trying to find parts is like needle in a haystack. It is not easy, and if you do, they're expensive. There's too much that this car needs to be safe and reliable. You know, now the engine and transmission, reliable. I've got nothing against the 3800 or that trans. It's nothing like that. It's just the 80s GM bullcrap technology with the digital dash cluster and all that stuff. It was just a nightmare for them to come out with. Something that should have never been made, in my opinion, but it is what it is. So the car runs, and potentially it kind of drives. There'll be another video coming out that I'll do, probably one of the last ones, so make sure you look out for that one. And there'll be more C10 and Chevy celebrity content coming out soon. Yeah, so if you like this video, give it a big thumbs up. I'd appreciate it. As always, like, share, subscribe. Make sure you have the notification bell on, so every time I upload, you get notified. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned for more content like this. I will catch you in the next one. Thanks.